As far as Tuesday drive headlines go, we're warning you of snowy and slick side streets, even slick interstates this hour with the frigid temperatures. We still have chain and traction laws active along I-70 and the mountain corridor and that Loveland Pass closure. We do have team coverage for you on the roads. 9 News reporter Brianna Fernandez joins us live right now. Brianna, how are things where you are?
Hey, good morning, Erica. So right now we're just west of I-25, right at the intersection of Spear and Federal. We're actually right by North High School, which is one of the high schools that will not be opening up today. So you're going to see a lot of you're not going to see a lot of school traffic this morning, and that's because of the brutal cold temperatures that we were seeing early this morning, that we're still seeing this morning. So several school districts have announced that they will be closed today. Some of those school districts, so those include DPS, Jeffco, Aurora, Douglas County, and Cherry Creek, who is dealing right now with damaged pipes in several buildings. So some Colorado colleges and universities, including CSU and School of Mines, have also announced closures. And then CU Boulder is on a 2-hour delayed start as well. So back out here live, we just made a right turn on Federal, where things are looking pretty good. Again, those cold temperatures are going to cause some slick road conditions, so keep that in mind if you're heading out the door later this morning, maybe heading to work. Now, we also have a full list of the school closures on our website, 9news.com, and then of course at the bottom of your screen we're going to have that throughout the morning. I'm going to send it back to you guys in the studio.
I know all the kids yesterday when they heard snow day, they're like, yes, and all the parents were like, no, what are we going to do?
Well, it's a lot of them today. A lot of schools canceled yesterday.
Yeah, so many. Brianna, thank you. The temperatures are low enough that frostbite can set in very fast.
Yeah, that's right. Emergency rooms in the metro area were busy warming people up yesterday. UC Health's Burn and Frostbite Center helped patients and gave advice to doctors across the metro area. They admitted 2 people with bad burns and helped doctors with people who had 2- or 3-day-old frostbite. That's tougher to treat. Doctors over at Denver Health say they have not been as busy as expected during the cold weather. Just a handful of frostbite and hypothermia cases.
Berthoud Pass still closed this morning after an avalanche buried nearly a dozen cars on Sunday. Look at this video. CDOT says crews clearing the roads experienced additional slides that have recovered that road. The Colorado Avalanche Information Center still has avalanche warnings for most of the western slope and southwestern Colorado. The threat of an avalanche is high up there. It will decrease today, but not by much. The wind and snow has stopped in the mountain towns, but they continue to dig out after feet's worth of snow, and more is on the way.
Yeah, our man of the mountains, Matt Renew, is live in Breckenridge this morning. Matt, this weekend storms have left a lot of snow for y'all up there.
And it looks great, Jordan and Corey. Good morning. Some areas approaching 4 feet of snow over the past 7 days. You look at Breckenridge, they've got 36 inches of snow. Copper Mountain, 41 inches of snow. That's over 7 days, but most of that has come over this past weekend, which brought a lot of snow and a lot of wind to the high country. We just mentioned Berthoud Pass still close from that avalanche on Sunday, and avalanche danger is on the rise and going to be a big concern over much of Colorado. The Colorado Avalanche Information Center issuing a special avalanche advisory for much of the state. They say more than 200 avalanches were reported over this past weekend, 50 of those triggered by backcountry users, so avalanche danger definitely a big concern. But it is starting to look a little bit more like winter in the high country. Big piles of snow. It's cleared out, guys, but the temperatures have dropped. It's about -6, -7 in the Dillon area, about 1 degree here in Breckenridge, and still some wind, so that's really reducing the temperatures with that wind chill factor, and roads are slick and icy. But doesn't it look great here? Finally, like the middle of winter.
Yes, and they needed that snow so bad. It's so great for the ski resorts and people who want to get some fresh powder.
Yeah, of course, though, like he mentioned, you have that high risk for avalanches. Matt, we do know it's going to be a lot easier today without all the heavy traffic we were seeing behind you yesterday.
Right, it was such a disaster on the roads yesterday. They're open, traffic's moving, slick and snowpacked, but getting around will be a lot nicer today. But more snow forecasted for later in the week. We'll see what that does to the roads.
All right, Matt, thank you.
Well, DIA is continuing to struggle with the snow, wind, and brutal cold that we are experiencing here in Colorado. It's still affecting some flights even this morning. Right now, 70 flights are delayed at DIA, and over 100 flights are already canceled this morning.
It's 6:07 right now, and this morning NBC News is projecting that former President Donald Trump has won the Iowa caucuses. The win solidifies his place as the front runner for the 2024 Republican nomination. NBC News says he took more than 50% of the vote. It was a close race for second place between Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, but right now NBC News is calling DeSantis the runner-up. Meanwhile, Vivek Ramaswamy Ramaswamy told supporters he's ending his campaign after a disappointing fourth-place finish. Next up is the New Hampshire primary.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is back home this morning after being released from the hospital. This comes 2 weeks after he was admitted for complications after undergoing prostate cancer surgery. The Pentagon says that Austin will work remotely for a period of time before returning to the Pentagon. Austin's hospitalization stirred controversy because of how long it took for officials to disclose it. The Pentagon's Inspector General has launched a review into the matter.
And one thing you want to know about the weather is, yes, we are starting to moderate the temperatures. 1 below in Denver and 1 below in Colorado Springs at this hour. But if you look into the northeast, 28 below in Greeley and 24 below in Sterling. That's right off the thermometer. You factor in the wind chill, it's 46 below in Sterling. Feels like 43 below in Greeley. And even in Denver, feels like 16 below.
That's a stay inside kind of day if you can, Ed. Thank you. Right now, we want to check in on the drive still following that southbound I-25 crash about a half-mile south of the 84th Avenue exit. It did fully move into the right lane, so 2 right lanes and the shoulder blocked off. You can still see it's a split scene as far as we're dealing with a scene just up ahead and just behind it along this same stretch here. The gridlock is the right-hand side of your screen, that camera just behind the wreck. We're already dealing with about a 14-minute backup from North Glen headed down toward the 84th Avenue exit.
It sounds gross and dangerous, plastic chemicals lurking in the foods we eat, but the reality is those chemicals are there and we've known about it for decades.
Yeah, recent testing by our partners at Consumer Reports reveals some of the foods with higher levels of these chemicals and how to avoid them. Here's consumer investigator Steve Steger.
Take a trip through the grocery store or stop at a fast food restaurant. From packaged produce to meat, canned foods to fast foods, you name it, it probably contains some form of a chemical used to make plastic.
We tested a wide variety of packaged foods, 85 to be exact.
Lauren Friedman is a science journalist with our partners at Consumer Reports.
We were looking primarily for chemicals called phthalates, as well as bisphenols such as BPA, and we found them at levels that our scientists say are not okay.
Even at low levels, studies suggest these chemicals can contribute to an increased risk of diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease, and certain cancers. But eliminating these chemicals from our diet is hard, if not impossible.
The problem is it's not just about avoiding food that is wrapped in plastic. There are so many ways these chemicals can get into our food.
It leaches from the conveyor belts and the food handling gloves during food processing, even from contaminated water and soil. So what can you do to try to minimize chemical exposure? First, try to avoid plastic food storage containers. If you do use them, don't microwave them.
Heat can increase chemical leaching into your food, so it's a good idea to avoid storing hot food in plastic containers.
Stay away from fast foods, which were found to have some of the highest levels of these chemicals in Consumer Reports tests. Try to eat fresh, minimally processed foods like unpackaged fruits and vegetables. Stick with wood, stainless steel, and silicone kitchen tools. And swap out plastic water bottles for bottles made out of glass or steel.
Consumer Reports also recommends limiting high-fat foods in your diet, as research has found higher levels of plastic chemicals in foods with higher fat content. But when you look at the numbers that Consumer Reports found in fast food in particular, about 3 times as many of these plastics in fast foods, and things that you wouldn't expect to have a lot of plastics in. So like the fries that come in what looks like a paper container. There's a little bit of plastic coating on that, and they found like a ton of these chemicals.
This is bumming a lot of people out this morning. Like we were talking about it, like, no, we love our McDonald's. Yeah, exactly.
Not my Wendy's fries.
So what should you do? Because we were even talking about the fact that we need to adjust some of our own habits.
You're never going to cut them out completely, but I'm thinking now I have a lot of plastic containers. I heat up a lot of plastic containers. Maybe go into more of those glass things, the Tupperware.
Yeah.
Keep the plastic lid off, just use the glass containers. It's hard though.
It's really hard.
It's in everything.
Yeah.
The best you can do is try to limit it.
Yeah, as much as you can. You're never going to get it all out.
Steve, thank you.
Yep.